Hello and welcome to Zeta's Chivalry 2 survival runs. Today's map is Lionspire, and for Halloween special, I decided to do the bare knuckles survival run. This is even a greater challenge than Katars, for example, even though that's a really shit tier weapon. So bare knuckles, not only the enemy does not cancel its attacks after it's being hit by normal swings, but also you cannot block anything. So this is the issue with the bare hands, that you cannot block incoming damage. So instead of blocking, you have to pick your fights correctly, evade the enemy most of the time, but sometimes when situation requires, you can jab. So jab is even more important to use as unarmed than using jab while wielding other weapons. Let's begin. So I can immediately tell that I've scored 2 kills and usually attack from behind. As an ambusher, I do not receive any damage amplification by attacking from behind, even though one can argue that this is a native weapon for the Vanguard 2. Also, the other class, the Footman, also does has a passive perk that increases your damage while charging special attack. Well, unfortunately, this is not true for unarmed 2. I tried it, and it doesn't amplify 2. So it's just 40 damage if you either do a jump attack or just plain, special attack without being from standing position. It still delivers the same 40 damage. So having this in mind, it's easiest to take down the archer. So around 2 special hits would take out 80, and then if situation requires, some other hits are necessary. So archers are primary target again, but need to isolate them. Otherwise go behind the enemies and try to attack them whenever friendlies are engaging them. Also, you see, I couldn't even kill a peasant from 1 hit. So this is how bad the unarmed is. That's alright. Also, while doing this challenge, I was quite often close to succeeding, but then was often down by teammates. By usually archers shooting me in the back, so that's not very helpful. And the reason, if you are unarmed, you have to be close and personal with the enemy, so that too is additional problem. So the weapons you should avoid if you do a survival run as unarmed. So if you see somebody with halberds, with spears, in a sense anybody with longer than a medium weapon, even a greatsword, don't try and go to them. I mean, by the time you get to them and try to do jab, then it's all over for you. You won't be able to do it. So it's really hard. I mean, medium range weapons such as war axe is fine, or longsword is fine. Also, one-handed weapons are fine because you can do the turnaround and then just attack from 180. So enemy does not expect it. Also, I was able to do some duels by going alone, unarmed, against the enemy that had a weapon. So I can fight, again, that depends on the weapon enemy is wielding. But 1 against 1, I'm pretty confident. I mean, if the enemy is not, let's say, is less than the level 100, I can easily take them. That's how good it is. But yes, enemy usually see you unarmed and try just to attack, and that's where jab comes in really nicely. Otherwise, just attack from behind, and when you're injured, you just try to go and replenish your life. That's the name of the game. So after the whole charade of how to engage and what to avoid, let me comment the run itself. So the map itself is not the easiest. I was able to avoid friendlies, and now my hit was cancelled by blocked by the active parry. So this is another thing to think. If the enemy is good at 1 versus 6, your fists will not be very good in and you basically would just receive damage for no reason. So pick it carefully and pick your retreat strategy too. And this time there was also one enemy who came from behind but just couldn't finish him off. Could not finish me off. So it's alright. I usually run and try to look for enemies that are in red, so it would be easier for me to kill them. It doesn't always work. When I get there, they often are already dead. But you know that last kill steal is quite important for unarmed. Now 40 damage for one, and that's 10 more, and that 10 damage was done from a jab. So the enemy would not have been able to connect his maul on me because I did the jab. So jab is very important for unarmed person. Now unfortunately here I did not receive a kill, but that's alright, and we still have some life left, even though it looked like the bar was almost depleted. It's okay. There will be plenty more to come. So I'm on objective. We are currently getting the objective, conquering it. I mean 4 to 15, so that's a lot. Now I downed the enemy. Also, friendlies are not very helpful if they start swinging, since this is ambusher class. It receives a lot of, it has low HP pool and receives a lot of damage from teammates too. So it's not very good to stay in the melee for a prolonged time, especially if friendlies do like to swing. So we have to retreat often and go back in with a charging special attack. I want to go for this archer, but I see enemy wave, so retreat. Instead try to pick somebody, you know, who is surrounded by friendlies, like this guy. One. Now this time he blocked correctly my my hits, and I also received an overhead from a friendly, so really didn't want to continue the fight. So yeah, challenges of being unarmed. And now that I'm healed, I'm ready to join the fight. By the way, we captured this objective, which is helpful. Now the next objective is really awful even when you have weapons. The bridge, there's a big choke point, so you're open for all kind of archers and projectile throwers. And if you do not have a long weapon or don't have a weapon at all, then you are up for open season. So it's really tough, but we'll still try to go around as much as possible and do some damage wherever we can. So I see enemies inside here, quite a few. And that's a very crucial jab. I would have died if that jab did not connect. So jabs are very important, and this is the example. I was very low on health and had to jab. And now enemy is down. So in close quarters where you have nowhere to escape, I mean, sometimes even when you can escape, there is a mechanic that, even though I have the fastest class, but pursuit mechanic allows a guy who's pursuing you to run faster, so even a knight class can catch up to ambush him. So for this reason, escaping, if you're not escaping into friendlies and just escaping somewhere, that will not help. You better stand and fight with jabs and so on, you'll have more chances. But it's very crucial that you actually not engaging against two people. Against one, it's possible, yes. It's actually not too hard. But against two, it's impossible. So if you do survival rounds with an arm, just ignore, don't do that, don't do against two. It's best to escape, but if you have nowhere to run, you can engage, but hopefully just with one. So yeah, plenty of fire here on this choke point. Not sure why enemy came here, just probably to feel the wrath of my fist. And he gets sent back to the spawn point. So yeah, really awful place to do survival runs as unarmed. And that's basically an illustration why. So I was downed by the enemy, this time not friendlies, so it's okay. But still very risky, and I couldn't even connect with my hit, because the range of unarmed is also very low. Very short range. So I have to, well, I don't usually play unarmed, but I know I tried it at least for 2.5 evenings to be able to complete this challenge. So 2.5 evenings. Let's continue. So we're pushing through the middle of the bridge, which is already good news. And some hits from the enemy do come in, and that's inevitable. Especially you cannot defend against them. I mean, you can sometimes avoid. But that's a very nice drag by the enemy. So when the enemy started the swing already, it's too late to engage. The best solution is actually to jump in and do jab or kicks. but usually people don't do a lot of blocking if you're playing as a unarmed. They usually charge attack, and that's where jab comes in handy. So now you see I retreated back, healed up, and I got rid of that guy with the maul, just with one special attack. Yeah, so it's always the name of the game. Come back stronger and more furious. Again, enemy dodged well and blocked my special attack. This happens too. I mean, this happens usually. So I did one survivor run successfully, but that was a long time ago, and it was only 12 kills. I think the highest I've got is around 20, but I was killed, knocked down by the friendly. And then my survivor run ended because of this. Now I do jabs against the enemy. And now the special attack. See? Even longsword, not a problem. So yeah. Enemy died before I reached him. But it would have been a very nice uppercut. Again, running from the enemies and just engaging, trying to... So you see, I mean, you cannot say that survival runs are hard. They're not hard comparatively to what I do here. This is hard. And trust me, the enemy lobby does enjoy some 1000 level players too, I think. I'll double check on the scoreboard, but I think that's the case. And I think I killed at least one of them. Again, from behind, of course. But that happens too. So when you say that survival is hard, it's not that hard really. Once you get the hang of it, it's not hard. I mean, I like still, it's like a good challenge. It's like playing Witcher on the hardest difficulty. It's challenging, but you have to think through, and then you can succeed. So yeah, think about it. That and now very nice barrel. Didn't dodge it, but just it didn't connect. So that's a part of luck. It was no skill at all. I didn't see that barrel coming. It's just luck. Now I want to engage the enemy, but I see there are at least 2 or 3 behind him. So I cannot engage, waiting for the perfect moment. It has to be patient. I see enemy. I come in, and he's dead again. Second time I come in to finish him off, and he's dead already. So this happens most of the time, but that fight would have been much more secure than rushing into 3 enemies on the right side. And even here I see there is quite a choke point. I see enemy, I see a second enemy, and there is no place to maneuver. So I will not come here, it just would be a suicide. So instead I go through the middle and just hope for the best. I see one very good target. Special attack, very good. Another attack, jab, very good. It works fine until I got burned by not sure who, probably enemy. Enemy 5 bot, because it actually dealt quite a lot of damage. So this is how I can tell that this is not a friendly fire. So now I healed up and can continue on with my survival run. But it was very good engage, as you saw. Even though enemy had a good weapon, I was able to sneak in and do some jabs, even though my special attacks did not work because he was blocking. Jab still delivered a lot of damage. Not a lot of damage, but threw the enemy off. So I was still relatively secure and in a winning position. And he was already in red. So if there would be no fire coming, I might have actually killed the guy. But we would never know now. Anyway. I see another enemy. The problem here is that friendlies are swinging like crazy. I can't even get to him. That's alright. I'm pretty sure they will finish him. And I see another potential target. And again I'm whiffing it. No, this time actually I managed to connect. So that's good. I mean, again, I'm not proficient with being unarmed, but it does require a lot of jabbing. So after you played unarmed, you would understand the value of jabs, and you would definitely use them much more often in your gameplay. This is crucial. I mean, even though training does provide knowledge about jabs, I rarely see anybody use them, except for the dual service or the FFA. But for duels, really, I mean, not even there, unless it's a high level player. But in FFA, it's very rare to see it. It's quite often you can see anybody who's using kicks. Yes, kicks are common, but jabs are not. But as I told you before, jabs are more powerful than kicks. So yeah, use that mechanic. It's high risk, high reward at the moment until you learn the range and the speed of the jab. But other than that, yeah, use this mechanic. It's really OP. I see 2 archers, and unfortunately one jumped really behind me. So really nice gameplay by the archer. Not sure if it was his spider senses, but he did quite well, and it was cinematic work. But I do not despair. I come in for the second time, and here you are. He's still here. See, he didn't learn the lesson. So actually 3 special attacks killed the guy. So that's why Archers is easier. He couldn't even change his weapon before he met his demise. And now battling against the enemy when I know that there are more enemies coming from my behind, I didn't feel secure to continue on the fight. So instead I retreated a bit. And now a jab again to the enemy. So jabs are important, and special attack. Now I see I'm low on stamina. I mean half through. So I need to go back still. Actually it helps to have some sort of healing weapon or healing stuff in your alternate hand, the one you stab with. So it's actually, for example, a fish. But also there are some items that improve your jabs. I mean, if you take, for example, a mug, so I'm not sure about the damage wise, but I know that the animation is slower than if you use it with, for example, a fish or, you know, bare hand. But if you take, for example, it's Halloween time, and you can take from the pot the skull of, well, somebody, not really sure whom, but you take the skull, then your jab is actually faster. So this is very interesting mechanic. So if you want to have, if you use a for example, single-handed weapon, and you want to do a quicker jab, so just take the skull. Skull does it faster. At least that's what I feel. So in maps like Falmire, you usually can get it even not during the season of Halloween. So yeah, enemy is trying to escape. Oh, and a jab stopped his attack completely. So that's a messer, and I've got rid of him. You see, that was almost a duel, but since enemy was revived, I did not receive a kill. And since I have a fish in my hand, I can easily replenish my health. It's faster than bandaging myself and then going back, you know, to the ammo crate to get the bandage. So let's continue. The map is has 2 minutes left. I'm already having a lot of fun, but let's hope the fun continues. So very nice, enemy jumped, and he met my Shoryuken midair. So really nice. Cinematic too. Another hit, very good. So yeah, Shoryukens, the charging special attack while charging is very OP. At least it gives you better reach. Now my kick did not work because enemy saw that I'm unarmed and decided to swing instead. So my jab would have been more preferred way to deal with the enemy. Missed, whiffed my hit from behind. Enemy was moving a lot. Too hard. Oh yeah. So yeah, 1 more minute left. Still running around like crazy and delivering Shoryuken to the enemy. The flying fist, isn't it? From Street Fighter. Enemies here. Enemies here, still here, and he dies. Headshot, you see? It landed correctly. The special attack, 40 damage. So that's comparable to Katars. Of course, not as quick, requires more stamina. I help the archer, and he somehow finishes off the enemy. It would have been my kill, but it doesn't matter. I helped the archer too. So yeah, and it was no risk actually in that scenario. Really want to hit the enemy, and he was killed. He was killed by the archer too. Alright, that happens too. And I see there are 30 seconds left. I'm not even trying to go for the objective. I mean, I have no blocking possibilities. But this Vanguard, I'd like to take a piece of him. Unfortunately, there is another guy. And I hear that they are following me. So instead I try to jump back. And I don't want to engage, because in case they're 2. But actually that's just 1. So I could have fought him. But I didn't. So it was still safe, and didn't want to die in the very last second of the match. It's alright, the map is ending. I've scored 16 kills and enjoyed the game. Delivered a lot of Shoryukens and jabs. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I expect like and subscribe from you.